a very stationary comp, but that's going to have the Symmetra teleporter in play. Beautiful teleport of the high ground there for the shock, and now they're going to try and engage.
I love this repositioning here. Choi Hyobin, that Immortality Field stayed around for so long. Choi got, I would argue, at least 200 effective health from that Immortality Field, just for the fact that it couldn't drop any lower than it did. Still, gotta be careful. Happy cleans up Glister and Twilight's down, so the Shock don't have a ton of damage or healing available to them right now. They probably will
still fight for this if you're San Francisco.
New Mexico on again. Happy, ton of damage on towards Choi Hyobin. Dante's gonna finish the job after he pops out, and the Outlaws look pretty comfortable playing this more compact style.
Yeah, when he went to go remech, he remeched basically right in front of the Amp Matrix, so during the animation, just so much damage came down, and he was...
Then pops the Deadeye. Now the Shock come in with a speed boost, but Super didn't get any of that sound barrier, if I'm not mistaken. Very defensive Blizzard, but it catches Jungle and Crimso in the mix. Dante had one of his own, though. And again, it's the Outlaws that come out looking a little better, Matthew.
Yeah, it's a big Blizzard. The sound barrier is actually...
These targets. And Matrix, but there's a Symmetra all in the way here. Super, though, he won't be blocked by it. That is a chunky one. Fantastic shatter from Super. Sporting a interesting new hairstyle there.
What do you think of the
really?
hairstyle?
I think that...
I've seen a lot of comments on it.
Even close enough to the edge. He's frozen again, by the way. All that healing for Violet. Super still getting pressured down, but now Choi Hyobin's come to the rescue. It keeps him alive, and Glister with a switch to Tracer claims Happy on that same hero. Amp Matrix is very scary right now. I think Jungle took a ton of damage, but still able to wrap around the corner and get rid of Super. Nicely done. Picky with the waggle hands, gets himself plenty of shielding back, and Twilight's down. This is bad for the Shock, Matt. Real bad.
They get it to 99. They end up losing it. They do get it to 99.
Mr. Chili on the point. He's looking for a cap here. Can the Outlaws finish this fight quickly enough or at all? Shatter comes in. 2 shields makes it a tough ask for Super. Immortality Field's the only thing that keeps the Shock alive. It was their only lifeline in this round, in fact. They didn't even manage to get the cap in the meantime. Glister finally gets it. As Happy looks like he stepped off for just a moment. That will buy a few crucial seconds here for San Francisco. They can stay alive. Glister looks like he's done this all before. Maybe more like Groundhog Day for him now, though, as he runs headlong into an icicle.
Yeah, you're going to have Super back on the Wrecking Ball, staying on, getting a touch as Nero's getting close to a Blizzard. That's going to be a Blizzard from Dante, though. So you will not get another contest, as that'll be the Outlaws who take the first point here.
That is a pretty nice Dynamite connection. That's going to pressure the healing resources now. This bring back T setup, and getting rid of Jungle is just the absolute jackpot early in the fight. Happy absolutely rolls by Glister.
Yeah, and it's actually a Discord Orb on a Piggy at the start. They put some damage down on him.
Yeah.
He gets low enough to be a bit scary, as they're going to be able to keep that player alive that backed out. I believe it was Juvie, but Happy will now be on the Widows.
Violet definitely has shown some aggression on this Lucio. His debut is, we saw it on Eichenwald. He went super aggressive there, so I think he gets the fuel. Nicely done.
He's angry.
Really sets that fight up.
He's angry they took his McCree away. So he's just going to play deter Happy from even playing the Widowmaker in the future, as Happy getting close to walls. Dante will have a Blizzard, but you don't get a touch. It looks like Piggy was knocked back.
Just a direction for all that long-range damage to go, and also means that your Reinhardt probably doesn't feel so
that
hard
is
done
dangerous.
by in the setup. Happy down to Choi Hyobin early. Crimso has to just try and top his team up. Regenerative Burst has to be used. They're trying to circle around and accost Violet here, who's well protected for the most part. Juby and Dante had already fallen. Super gets a halt off the map on one of his less played tanks. I don't see a lot of the Orisa at all from Super.
I mean, dude, did you see where they teleported? I mean, it was right on top of them on the high ground, and that's how you have a teleport up the side. Did he actually, did he pull aside?
Not quite as legendary as the Soldier 76 flank, but that's a story for another day. Nero's already been blown up by Happy, and Acrobatic Flux is dangerous, especially with Dante in his off angle. Twilight's frozen, so he was in a world where he could pressure the May with the Discord Orb on her, but not when he's frozen.
You'll have Bob contest, though. You're going to get a little bit supercharger here for Jungle. You have one to return if you're super as well. It's a lot of ultimates to use at once for the shock.
That hits so hard with a supercharger in play there, Matt. Choi Hyobin catches at least 4. And again, when the Outlaws get dropped down, it's into lava.
Supercharger.
Or cheese.
Yeah, Supercharger, Gravitic Flux Transferred is the winning play here.
Yeah, they go forward. You can see what they can do with the Lucio of Juby here. Barrel up, Somehow the San Francisco Shock can escape, but not without a cost. They lose Troy there. Junker goes down. Nice amp matrix. It just gets blown up. Junker's crossing the point, so he doesn't have a shield to stand behind. The Shock kind of catch him in rotation, which is obviously when Orissa's most vulnerable. But still, Dante's here with yet 2 more kills.
Yeah, as that Troy switched over to the ball, maybe he thought it was going to keep going.
All right, again, Shock in a very familiar position right now. Gravitic Flux this time from Piggy, and yeah, their fight's over very, very quickly. These are fights that, frankly, San Francisco can spend in this way.
Yeah. That one was to be expected. The bad part for the Shock is they don't do that.
Troy really would love another Gravitic Flux. He may not get it before the end of the round if he's not careful. Here comes the Fondue. Twilight loses that Immortality field. The Outlaws one has to get removed manually, and nicely done. Even with that Symmetra barrier, the Outlaws can't hold on. And that Blizzard. Oh, man, it's like a snow dome. It just sits there to the left of your screen. He's going to be accosted by Dante, who tries to leap in, gets past the Matrix, but Nero's turret. That's what's going to happen to flankers if they play against Torbjorn. Not ideal for the Outlaws to start this retake attempt at the final knell with 1 player down. Sound barrier now for the San Francisco Shock, and Matt, you can see them easing into this scenario. This is comfy. It's like an ottoman you've had in the family for 20 years. They're using it now. Wall thrown up. Crimzo's going to get pushed here. Super goes straight towards the Shock again. Yeah, the Doomfist comes back, and again the Doomfist gets shut down. Nicely done by San Francisco. Okay, Accretion doesn't really create an opportunity for a kill. Junker's shield is down. Super being pressured as well, Matt.
Yeah, the Outlaws want to poke a little bit, right, with the Orisa and the Sigma. So when they teleport behind them and create that distance in space, that's where their comp gains an advantage. The Shock just want to take these brawls with the Reinhardt up close, personal, especially with the Moira in play. So once that TP comes through and creates
that shield of Supers, though, looking a little bit worse for wear. They need to push out, but they've lost Nero here. Coalescence is in play. That's when they'd want to commit to this fight, but they get destroyed.
I imagine they switch off of this. We'll see if they do so or not. You see how fast this goes.
There's the TP play. Both tanks caught in the Gravitic Flux here. Super and Troy both go extremely low. It's really not common to see defenders get 3 fights on this defense here, Matt, at all. So there is that at least for San Francisco. They burned 2 minutes of clock, but I mean, in terms of momentum, in terms of how they're feeling, another TP play again. Blizzard, that one is going to be impossible to dodge. Great Maywall to set this up for Dante. He leaves the Shock with nowhere to go. Chekhovin burned down by a turret. It's going to be a Blizzard from the Shock this time now as well. Super stayed alive. Lister finds Dante, and San Francisco might have a chance here to turn this. Nero's trying to get to Jangu, but he can't access the Orisa. Still Jangu protected by 4 other teammates.
Yeah, and just a Doomfist here, and they go to a Sigma. A complete change-up here.
But a great start. They get rid of Juby early. Glister eventually falls, but only because he was in the Gravitic Flux. Pig was hoping for much more from that ultimate, but instead, he's missing Happy and Jangu. There's real no staying power left here for the Outlaws. San Francisco make a switch in comp, man. I love your take on this hero lineup.
Yeah, they get some damage at for Violet.
Super still alive, being kept up now. Maywall thrown down, and the Supercharger is gone. Sound barrier for San Francisco as they again commit to this fight. The Maywall creates a little bit of spacing. Dante buys some breathing room, and they've got to get there. They do. This is there on the Doomfist. Super, though, falls to the Hyperspheres as he comes across the point, and, well, I've seen that before from the San Francisco Shock. A Gravitic Flux that makes it impossible for them to touch their own cart. Yep, seen that one.
Yeah, it's not able in these fights, being aggressive. That's going to be an Amp Matrix used. You see Super trying to get out of harm's way from it as Glister will end up getting 2 kills there on the Doom.
Absolutely filthy stuff from Glister's Doomfist. Crucially, finding both DPS players. And he's not done.
Oh, I mean, this is
happy there straight to the high ground with the rest of the Outlaws. No one's on the card right now. They're eventually going to drop back down, though. Glister's trying to get out of the Blizzard. He does so. But this is time that he's not in the fight here. And yeah, this is time where his teammates needed him to be in the fray fighting kills. 50 seconds left, though. As the Shock man have done the teleporter placement, but looks like they're happy enough just catching Chekhovin, who might stay alive, actually. From the kinetic grasp, the extra shield keeps him standing. And then the sound barrier comes in. Jangu's trying to hop, skip, and jump out of the Blizzard, but he'll get caught. And then in the Gravitic Flux, which he can't escape because he doesn't have Fortify available. Piggy will be next on the chopping block here, but watch out. Twilight's gone down. Choihoven doesn't have a lot of healing, but Super comes in with a big shatter. The Blizzard is there. Choihoven trying to protect his teammates, who are surely going to be frozen, but nobody escapes the frosty gaze of Dante.
And Crimzo able to stay alive throughout all of that POV. Like the hammer may have like clipped through the bridge and hit him. So it's unfortunate for the Outlaws to lose their Tracer, who, like you mentioned, no, Dante's contesting the point at that moment in time. Where once you lose that, there's nothing you can do. This is very ambitious from
There's
Piggy.
no good flux there. There just isn't one. All of the shocks spread immediately, and that's that. Point A done.
Yeah, and that is a very long range. And now you got to swap. Now you got to swap 2 heroes, and you had one use a big ultimate.
Great start to that fight, though, Matt. Super take. Oh, the Coalescence. Okay. Well, that's the decision. We'll see if Twilight stays on the Moira, but Super takes some damage.
No, he's there because of the sim turrets.
Doesn't matter. What a lob.
He don't care.
I mean, though, at that range, right, a little bit risky you normally think, but there's no Orisa. So there's no Diva here, rather, to eat that up. And maybe, yes, Kinetic Grasp can shut down Blizzard, but it's a lot harder to do. Ballsy stuff from Nero from long range. You're the main wall. Okay, they get past it. They have to push through proper hard, though. Look at all those barriers are in the way, but Super's the one that's actually caught in a maelstrom of hungry Outlaws players. He's just gobbled up by that. All right.
Happy
I don't think Happy was ready for that.
Yeah, he has no idea that Glister's actually up there behind him.
We doesn't know the Glister's so charged as well. That's how volatile these fights get with the Symmetras that have been chewing on barriers for the first 5 to 10 seconds. This is tough. No one's breaking that Maywall. Crimzo on his own, just trying to get through there. That's perfect from Nero. Crimzo is so important at that part of the fight.
It ends up working there. This is going to be a fast engage here from the Outlaws. It's going to be Blizzards from both sides, though.
That's a nasty gravitic flux, though. Look at that, the TP mid-fight while there's a Blizzard. Yeah, that's perfect. And that's what I talked about at the start of the game, right? I love these TP repositions mid-fight. They're pretty hard to pull.
They're going to get right up to the high ground, Kinetic Grass to give some more health to Choi. This could be a huge flux. The Accretion Mitches, so no stun.
Yeah, Happy down to that one. Violet just pushed in there. You see he's playing close to the doorway. And yeah, Junker realizes, wait a minute, we can't back down the stairs. There's no future for us if that happens. So, meet your maker kind of stuff. Lister finds a lot of value with the turrets.
And the Shocker.
TP was in place. Coalescence also in play here. So the Shocker got great healing for the next few moments. And that, no one's getting a ton of value out of this air matrix right now. They can't see really. The card is actually blocking a lot of line of sight. It would have been great here. That gravitic flux, I mean, the Shock get put back down onto the card that they wanted to be on, so they ride that home.
This is where the Shock will struggle, though. No.
Happy's charged up. They just eats through Super Shield there. Nero is, he's dead. Yeah, Ice Block, and he's still dead. Yeah, still dead. Still dead. Violet, yeah, very dead. Choihoven also not going to fare much better.
This fight lasts 30 seconds. By the time we have this next fight kick off, it'll probably...
San Francisco have to work around this, and so they do, literally. They teleport into the back line, but Super gets caught on his way there. Crimzo Immortality field to the card, so the Outlaws can now brawl without a care in the world. And they do. Gravitic Flux there was really just the cherry on top, and will the Outlaws get that first check? At least half of their health by the time they hit that ground. That's incredible stuff. Fantastic symmetrical from Happy there. And of course, the air matrix from Crimzo was elementary at that point.
And even, yeah, I mean, you don't need the M-Matrix or anything.
Yeah, even though there's only one shield in play, tough for him to find a flank shatter opportunity. The Shock need to end it here. They've given up way too much already against the team with 1 minute on the attack. It looks like they get it done. Twilight comes in with the honor, and that Biotic Grenade makes it impossible for Crimzo and Juby to keep everybody topped up. A very impressive push for the Outlaws. There's a whoa!
Ooh, lots of damage here on Adante.
They keep him up though.
Massive though. For the Outlaws to get a fight win here.
Yeah.
So you do get everybody away for the Outlaws, but that's the idea, right? If the Shock TP onto the Outlaws will just TP out. And we're in the same spot as we were originally. They couldn't do this the last time, the Outlaws, because they weren't playing the sim at the start.
I mean, Twilight has to pop Coalescence there. Knows they're happy. There's no Immortality field left. That cooldown already got used here. So having to use that Moira ultimate here, probably pretty frustrating. San Francisco, it's a game of cat and mouse. And you know, the Outlaws do look like Okay, TP. A ton of damage on Dante as he approached there, but he's able to ice block that away. Symmetra barrier also really keeps the Outlaws fairly safe, with the exception of Happy, but his job was done. He put that barrier up in the first place. Oh, it's going to be a sound barrier for the San Francisco Shock. They're forced to invest with everything they have. And they may get what they came for, but there'll have to be another fight here at this rate. Crimzo is keeping Picky topped up so nicely. Oh man, it's good money after bad getting thrown here by San Francisco, man. They've got to use everything to get here.
Well, they want these fights done with. They want to get the...
No coalescence. Oh, sorry, rather no gravitic flux available for Choi, but there is a coalescence in play. Juby burned down by the turrets here. So the Shock had a moment to set up to get those turrets in place, and they burnt down. Happy as well. Glister gets 3 kills in that fight, and San Francisco now, well, Immortality Field gets burnt down though. The Outlaws now getting overrun. Choi Coben is there in the front line, pushing back Houston. And the Shock now, again, a situation where they can stagger Houston will be pretty good, but there might be a turnaround here. It's going to be a sound barrier committed to the fight. That almost went really wrong for San Francisco. They have to go for the Blizzard now, and they do, but they need reinforcements badly.
Yeah, and you're going to lose Crimzo so late. You do have...
Lost that fight, it would be over. Supercharger and playing on the big coalescence from the backside. Twilight trying to take things into his own hands. What do you know, Twilight? He tries to go for the hero play, but it's blown up in his face. And now the Outlaws have the players to move forward. No Moira left for the Shock. It's just a Lucio left in an Immortality Field thrown down by Crimzo. And for the Shock, it's all over. Doesn't matter which year it is. Somehow San Francisco always have to make it flashy. This time, it's more of a dynamite stick in their face.
You can nano the Winston, farm up the Primal. You have Sound Barrier, good sustain ultimate, but then you also have Grab Dragon, which could be huge, as that's going to be Jonggu dropping. So you trade main tanks out here.
Yeah, goes aggressive in order to try and get that Jonggu kill. Maybe he overvalues it a little bit too much relative to the positioning he had to take in order to get it. Piggy slept. He's fine. Why are you mad? You guys are going to win the fight. It's all good. Dante doubles down with a sticky bomb and 2 supports. That's so filthy. He is very close to duplicate already. That's nasty.
Yeah, and Juby gets... We're not even close. I mean, we haven't even seen, a Grab Dragon yet, right? Nothing's been going right.
Oh, God. This is bad. This is very bad.
Yeah. It's not been a good look. So we'll lose Violet on the way out here as well.
So the Cop is trying to push into close quarters against, like, the Baptiste, against the the sticky bombs and such. Smurf goes down, crucially. Crimzo could be brought back to life. Juby obviously is on that Mercy here, but I think his corpse is going to get camped a little bit. That Dragon Strike, Jungler was already going to push forward anyway. Didn't need any more encouragement to do so. And they burned down the supports.
Now
Jungler's like, what is going on? How are we winning this fight right now? Arnt's got a Dragon in fairness, but he has had a very quiet one.
Does he Primal out of this? Okay, so you get Juby. Smurf is going to stay alive with the Primal Rage here. He's going to have Twilight coming back with a Nano, so you might be able to turn this into the shot. Yeah.
Piggy has hands here. Still doesn't do anything about the Winston. He had to hit that accretion. I think he's kicking dead. If not, still, Glister won't be denied. Chases him down. Of all things, attack shooter experience. Let's see if it does anything. Unlikely. Violet's been taken down already. Choi can barely touch. He is removed. This has been a very lackluster attacking showing from San Francisco. The duplicator Winston timing was just perfect from Dante, Matt. And there's an Immortality Field for Happy. Oh my, catches Glister. And there it is, Amp Matrix for Happy. He's very pleased to be sat in that left corner with Crimzo.
Be able to play them all at a very good level. Oh, that is such a
summarizes this.
Oh, I mean, that is Juby, though, I believe, with a whip shot straight up. Knocking him right up into the air, and he can do nothing after that.
Yeah, I think that really summarizes very effectively the woes for San Francisco on this map so far. Dealing with this Orisa-based composition. Junggu, yeah, I mean, it takes a certain kind of person to play Orisa. You kind of need to have bovine fever to some degree. But hey, it pays off in a big way. The Outlaws, it's going to be so refreshing for them here to be able to net what will be a very quick map at this rate. Very pleased with this. Crimzo now with an Amp Matrix for oneself. And the Outlaws, very quickly.
They do have the Zen Bap in the mix. This is going to provide some extra damage, but that's going to be Dante taking out Twilight straight away. So you lose that fight at the choke pretty much instantly.
I mean, Matt, even before they get the kill on Twilight,
The Outlaws can collapse onto the Zen. You see Violet basically almost dead at the start. Glisser saves him with some nice storm arrows from the side, but that's what the Outlaws want to get going. They want to try and collapse on the Zen.
Yeah, they don't account for Glisser being in an off angle. I think Dante fully committed to try and getting super. They thought, okay, everybody's on the high ground. We've walled them off. Now we can get this Orisa. That wasn't the case. And even if there was a wall, Glisser. All right, Happy jumps across. Big Dragon. This is going to force the Transcendence from Violet. Maybe not how Violet would have wanted to use it. San Francisco are still going to be looking for value, but that is unreal. Gravitic Flux. Actually unreal connection there from Higgy. I don't know how he got so many people in that. I thought the shock was spread more thinly than they were, apparently.
I mean, there's a halt in there, right? That helps get a few players. There was no way that they were going to live through that, though, because
it looks like it got voluntarily dropped by Dante there, even though there was a Air Matrix in play. Blizzard and Dragon from San Francisco. Still to get Junko out somehow. Dante's going to fall to the Blizzard. He lost his Joy, ate it up. I see quite a few of those Blizzards getting eaten by Sigma players today. But this looks like another good one from San Francisco here. It doesn't help the Outlaws that they lost their Blizzard. Dante's going to switch to Tracer here. Is this an admission?
No, that'll be an Amp Matrix use here for both teams. Where Juby's in a tough spot. They're going to have to try and get some help on him, but super pushed out. I think the Shock, they need to make a decision. Do they want to stay on this Zen, or do they want to play the Brig Mirror? They probably value the Discord, but need some kind of deterrent for the Tracer. But
that's huge.
Not the
that's
case,
absolutely massive. Dante on the Tracer. Honestly, considering how good Dante is across such a wide range of different heroes, his Tracer isn't always the one that gets him the accolades. It's more Nero forced up a little bit here. That's a Dragon Strike. Ideally, it just lets Happy get back to the rest of his team.
Are they even going to be able to get to the car?
12 seconds left. Dragon Strike comes through now. Immortality Field was there just in case.
This could be it.
This could be over for the Shock. They're way too far away. Nero overloads. Nobody's particularly concerned about that. And
nowhere
unreal.
close.
Absolutely staunch defense from the Houston Outlaws. They are all over, getting a perfect aerial view of the situation. And Violet, well, that wasn't even Violet being aggressive, Matt. That was just Dante being a cut above. Perfect execution.
And, Glisser comes out, and I mean, he gets flanked and killed from behind. He pokes out a little bit, and he's got to be worried about Happy, right? A few times during that, I mean, he's just crushing them. A few times during that last round, Glisser would come out and poke, and Happy would just take his head off. That's gotta still stay in his head going into this round. But without that aggression and trying to poke and do some damage, Dante probably on this first corner. If they lose here, the cart's gonna basically make it to the end. And you've already lost super. This is not good play from San Francisco.
This is Dante 1v5ing a lot of the time, just able to get these assassinations because heads are turned in other directions. He can do what he wants here. Losing super so early, and they're almost out of time. Bob to the point, Gravitic Flux, perfect connection there. Had to be a fortify from super to avoid that, but Trick Open didn't even get held aloft. He got blown up before he even touched the ground. And make it 2 Gravitic Fluxes, by the way. Now, that's a lot to be dealing with right now. And more gravity than Jupiter, I guess. It's going to be the Houston Outlaws to take the series away. And those last 2 maps don't even look remotely close. Not even remotely.
No, those last 2 maps are not competitive. That is a dominant display there from the Outlaws. Volskaya is completely one-sided from the Outlaws. And then right here on King's Row, there was never a doubt that they were going to win this map. And I think San Francisco, they probably need to come around on one roster or get closer to it. I think what you saw today is they started to go more with the